We had I didn't see the other band. One was Tassadar, one was somebody else, and first pick was Malfurion. So we'll go do that. So it's Ragnaros and Tassadar.
Ragtas,
First
then
pick
Malf. So they leave up a lot of options. We'll have to see how they play it out. We've seen a lot of early variants. Trying to think of what else we might see here that could be weird.
You know what Skinnergizes as well with that Malfurion skin is Zul'jin. I'm not advocating for the pick. I just think it'd look cool if they were standing side by side.
Skinnergize.
Varian and Tychus, two strong heroes. We saw Varian last game do pretty well. No Ragnaros, though.
Yeah, I mean, Varian's got plenty of merit. And, you know, we have seen Chromie on this map for similar situations. I mean, she's definitely good at the poke. She can just throw out those cues. The time traps are beautiful in the rotations. She doesn't have the most lane clear, which is her biggest weakness, so you have to make sure you have plenty of lane clear outside of her. But she is something I really like to see more with Varian that we don't see a lot of in NA.
I'm going to tell a story. Okay, as we see ETC and Zarya. That whole strategy of Chromie first developed at I think it was at either Valencia or Gamescom. It might have been Valencia. When Ariel started to become, so it would have been Gamescom. When Ariel started to become a pick, and Fnatic's like, listen, if nobody attacks anybody, and you don't have Empathic Link on, Ariel can't heal. So Fnatic was like, well, let's use Asmodean on Cursed Hollow and throw globes. This is where the strategy originally developed, and it was always like, nobody can talk about it because technically it's not something that's really out there. But that was where the strategy started like 7 months ago.
Wow.
And so then it started to run into, what if we poke from really far away as Chromie instead on other maps? And obviously Chromie had a minor rework and stuff like that. So this all developed around Ariel. And so the strategies kind of were like, well, if nobody can attack, then you're just doing free damage and you can't heal it up. Every other healer can heal it up.
Yeah.
Which makes Chromie somewhat less attractive. And we see that baiting out the temporal or baiting out the Crystal Aegis, stuff like that, but it really revolved around Ariel not being able to heal. So that's where that came in. So if anybody wants to know why Chromie became a thing, you can thank Fnatic for that. And I just let the cat out of the bag.
The cat has been released. Who puts cats in bags anyways? That's just mean.
It's an American saying, I guess. So
No,
I don't know. Someone will probably Wikipedia it and tell me I'm wrong, and it's some like French saying or something. I don't know.
I'm just gonna say, don't put your cat in a bag. Your cat would not be happy. You should let it out.
I agree. Vala being banned. The thing, okay, so Sonya banned. Don't want to deal with Sonya again. The team switched sides, right?
They did, yes. That's
Yeah.
LFM on the right. I don't know. Sonya is a fine solo laner, but she's not super prominent here. I think they just respect the threat of that. Maybe they are thinking, oh, they could try to do the Sonya with Medivh and Varian once more, and they just don't want to deal with it.
Zarya really tends, and we've seen this more and more lately, Zarya and maybe to a lesser extent Medivh has really been keeping people away from the Jaina and Li Ming later in the draft. So giving that guaranteed energy that is really, really easy to get if you're even a halfway decent Zarya player, a lot of people have been really shying away from that. So we're going to see Greymane, Cursed Bullet, man. That thing is scary.
Dude, it's my favorite thing in the world. I've been playing a fair bit of Greymane ever since this change. And there's something about the sound effect of the Cursed Bullet that is insanely satisfying.
It kind of reminded me of the new Vala skin, though. The Deputy Vala.
Yeah, but way cooler.
It is cooler. It is cooler. I'll give you that much. It is cooler. Do you think, okay, this is going to sound crazy. Do you think they might go into something like Uther and just like have a dive comp? I mean, I would not, I don't like Uther, but this gives me shades of last summer with Tyrael, Greymane, and then an Uther.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it. And It would be pretty good in the rotation. Just if you're trying to get like a 4-1, you just kind of leave Tier alone in the top for a while. Let him do his thing. Maybe I don't know if I like it though. It's too like forcing the issue, and they're gonna have the options to deal with it, especially level 10. Look at this team, double silence with Horrify. Like they've got so much control. Every single hero.
You do not want to run Uther against the Sylvanas. Gul'dan enough is tough enough, but the Lost Soul talent level 4 for Sylvanas, especially against the heavy front line, you spread that, you get the cooldown, you continue to spread AoE damage really, really quickly. It's why, like, when you see Sylvanas play, you're like, oh, wow, Sylvanas did a lot of damage, but it's really based around her Shadow Dagger and that level 4 talent. It doesn't necessarily equate to what we termed last year as effective damage so much as it's just annoying damage to a lesser extent there. So I mean, Rhaegar obviously is here. It'd be really hard to say not Rhaegar at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I just think Rhaegar makes the most sense. And, like, you always have to put that fear in the back of their mind. Like, oh, would they go Bloodlust? I mean, probably not, but this is a composition that would get a lot of value from it. Again, things like Horrify do shut it down rather handily, Expulsion Zone, etc. So, pretty unlikely, but you never know.
Grenade is basically your mosh counter at this point, right? Outside of Sanctification, obviously.
Yeah, and the
That's
cleanse
scary.
very in charge, but that's costly.
All right, well, Tomb of the Spider Queen. Can LFM stay in? Greymane. Juki goes from Medivh to Greymane. He's like, look, I'm going to play the highest skill cap heroes in the game. Let's see if we win.
Yeah.
And it might be a little bit of an overstatement for cocktail build. But hinging on when do I dive versus when do I not dive is kind of a little bit tricky. It's high risk, high reward, basically.
And yeah, in some situations definitely can be, especially when you got to worry about the power slide root combo. That's just such a large amount of lockdown with plenty of damage to follow up with it. It probably will just be the cocktail build again. I wish we saw more variations with the builds on Greymane and competitive, because I mean, it's not that we only see cocktail. It's just the most prominent here, but Greymane's a fun hero with a lot of cool talents.
Varian is because you can do so much at 1, you can do so much at 7. His 4 obviously is pretty much a lock-in, but I like the banner changes from 13 to 16, by the way.
Yeah? Why is that exactly? What's your big draw to that change for Varian?
I thought it was way too strong at 13, plus it makes the 16, now 13, a lot more viable, which was their main focus, but
That's
I just
true.
thought banner at that point was way too strong. Like, once you hit 13, Banner of Ironforge, thanks. Like, that's super, super strong.
We saw a game where Banner of Dalaran was used, which I thought was really interesting. That's the name of the mage one, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is like there's so many options around those. Obviously, movement speed being the broken OP one, Kappa.
We see it used a lot, but honestly, like, the fact that you can give 20% ability power in like a mage comp, that's like a really compelling ability. Not necessarily something we're going to see here, but if you've got a double mage comp, like, that is scary.
Do you think they're technically in a game and we just don't know it?
No, we're in the spider waiting room right now. Shh! Don't be too loud.
Just hanging out. No bars are moving. Are yours moving?
No, remember we had this last week. Was this last week? Yeah,
I mean, I didn't.
that was with the Arcanum. Zoe and I had this problem last week.
Did you have to restart or it just took a while?
No, we had to restart. We'll give it another moment here.
Dan just messaged me and said, "Is the game loading?"
We might have to restart.
I told you we should have remade that lobby.
Yeah, maybe that's the issue. Maybe it's just that dead observer that's not loading. It's very possible. We might all have to Alt F4. Oh, the struggle, man.
All right, I just messaged Dan, said, let's Alt F4 and redo.
Okay, make sure everyone hits nope when you rejoin. We got to tell them that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for bearing with us as we do our very best to get ourselves into this game number 2. Having a bit of bad luck right now.
If Nazebo was in the game, we could blame it on bad voodoo.
Wait. What does MXN stand for? I'm looking at the BattleNet launcher image. It says not available in MXN. It's a weekly
I don't
sale.
have that.
Huh. Weekly sale, February 21 through 28. Not available in MXN. Mexican? I don't know. Like,
Lucio coming at you.
all right, I'm back in.
Same.
It's handlebars is in the custom. Okay, he just vanished.
You're not gonna ride my bike
What kind of bike?
with no handlebars.
Oh, that kind of bike.
No
Can you?
handlebars.
You can ride a bike with no handlebars?
With no handlebars.
I can't do it. I would
With
crash.
no handlebars.
Yeah.
Somebody in chat will get it. I'm in a lobby.
Oh,
I will
that's-
invite Solid Jake in. Ripperoni.
Well, I think we know that the false observer is now demonic, and we will never trust him again. We'll always make new lobbies if there's a false observer. So stay away from the false observer. Jay, how I started making some new sub emotes for the Arcane 8 channel, just the shameless plugs, and somebody had the idea. I posted in my Discord. I was like, all right, guys, what are some ideas? And 2 of the ideas were Throw Pit, which I thought was beautiful, and Party Bush. So I took a bush and I gave it a little birthday party hat. It's the worst looking emote I've ever seen. But
by worse, it will be the best, then it'll be a meme, which is good.
right? Like,
Yes.
So, like-
If they're game related, I would thoroughly enjoy that. Oh my goodness. Oh, I will sign off on that one. When you took the bush away, it looked like you were wearing a party hat. So there we go.
But the emote would look for something more like that. That's it looks so stupid. Oh man. All right. Almost into our game here for real. As we're not going to go through the whole draft again. Everyone's just going to lock in their heroes, hit ready, and we'll jump on in to game number 2. Once again, it is a 1-0 lead for No Sleep over LFM at this point in time. And as soon as they go 3, 2, 1, here we launch.
You know, Variant's cape in the player select screen is quite flowing.
Oh, I don't have them on my screen. I have the other team. Alrighty. The bar's moving. How exciting!
This is working well so far. So, Rhaegar gives wave clear. Tychus Grenade kind of does. Varian doesn't really contribute a lot. Tyrael will likely be the solo laner with this comp. But wave clear in terms of, especially I hope we see Moonburn from Malfurion. But Gul'dan, Sylvanas, anybody you want. I'm just wondering, will Sylvanas be the solo laner, which would probably be likely, or will they try and put Zarya down there since Tyrael's not a huge threat?
Yeah.
Scouting drone. That's one way to control the beacon.
I could dig it. I mean, you mentioned Moonburn as like really nice for the clear, but their clear is fine even without it. And
Beacons, I mean the turn-in points.
yeah, the Kaffas.
Get to the Kaffa.
I'm going to start saying that to my team, and I probably won't ever stop. So thanks.
Well, the minions are being delayed on one side of the map. They're sniffing out all of the vents there. That's twice now. They're like, "Where are you? Why are you not here yet?" They realize they can't exactly like hard engage into the minions, so they want to have them as safely as possible close to their.
Look at that gem collection. So efficient. Handlebars just swings on in. Looks like he's putting a threat on his opponents, but he's really just picking up coins in the park.
I would pick up coins in the parking lot, but I mean the park works too. I can dig it. Juki going in hard there, but Drayed, a ton of energy, is poking them away. Influ already taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's the Wolfpack is fairly efficient with Grammy and Rhaegar. But if they're a little bit too efficient working on the Zarya bubbles, yeah, they feed that energy rather quickly. So look at that spot. You were talking about the AoE damage, and whew, baby.
How do you like this strategy? They're sending Zarya, Sylvanas bottom. They send the other three to the top. They both clear a wave, and then they meet again in the middle.
It's beautiful. They're like synchronized swimmers.
It's quite unique.
Oh, that power slide! The value! Double kill. Just like that. Yeah.
They're going to have to leave those gems there. They can... Oh,
Juki got some.
They're posturing like, I want them now. We can't. They just lost a lot of gems. It's now 26 to 8.
Yeah, that's rough, actually. That power slide just setting it all up, and that's the power of when you get ETC Malf in the early part of the draft. You set yourselves up for those kind of opportunities, and I mean, that's why those heroes are so dominant in their roles.
Graded has done very well on Zarya so far to make sure and build up that energy. I think it's been one of the big factors as they've gone in to those fights a couple of times. So 4 picked up though. 4. Wait, who's on what side this time?
So sneaky, lingering behind, stepping in, actually takes one whack at the scouting drone, then opts to retreat into that Aldruin Smite. Draded actually did get one orb out to damage him as he went through, but
Well, right now, I actually kind of like this call from No Sleep. They're trying to do anything to disrupt this rotation. This 3-2 converge into the middle lane after the bottom and top get cleared. They picked up the Siege Giants at the bottom, which is going to disrupt their entire strategy. Should be cleaned up pretty quickly, but changing up the rhythm is actually a pretty big deal.
And is that rhythm enough to get a kill? No. The mosh pit, or the power slide of ETC lets him just slip on out of there.
Rounds over 4. That can actually make plays around the turn-ins. If you're trying to contest or you're trying to get out, it can actually be a pretty big deal. Dodging the corruption there was Hayoon as echoed corruption about halfway there, but the roots, the power slide. Bye-bye Varian. Oh, Hecarim going in hard, James.
He immediately regretted that decision, though. He's like, I miss my friends. I'm going to leave.
Well, they have enough for turn-in, so we'll see if they want to go ahead, clear up this bottom lane, and then try and posture for a turn-in. Hecarim going to try and push that out just a little bit. They get the turn-in at the top. First round of Web Weavers and almost a full level lead. We'll see if Sylvanas and team can get a good push here.
Yeah, that's the power of Sylv at its full potential here. When you've got those Web Weavers to push on in, she can threat an entire fort by herself while you get a 4-man push otherwise. Or you just push all together, and that's even more scary.
Well, they've already got the entire fort wall down. It's out of ammo regardless. There's 1 shot left, but they're going to be able to push in. And this is a scary prospect because you start to run into the fact that you've lost so many gems. It's going to be a little bit longer before you can turn in. And if you don't get a turn in as it gets closer and closer to 10, you think about scouting drone being there to scout things out. It's actually a really scary thing when you're going up against the Sylvanas comp and you've had the lack of success early game.
Yeah. Yeah, this is rough. I mean, full level lead. 7's almost here, which is nice, but ETC has done a great job keeping Heiyun at bay in the top, and that's going to allow them to get another fort, really. And you don't often see 2 forts go down from an early web weaver turn-in like this. I mean, we're only 5 minutes into this game, but that's just the potential of Sylvanas in this situation.
It's super scary. I mean, Sylvanas has done so much work. Heiyun took so much damage up there. They've dropped several gems, as we'll see here in a moment. They might have enough for a turn-in, but they're definitely going to have to posture up for the moment. They have just enough for a turn-in.
Yeah. It's not good, though. Like, even though they have enough for a turn-in, the chances of them actually just getting that for free, very unlikely. Sylvanas is able to just step back, start working on the Bruiser camp, but Rhaegar is going to mirror that. Rhaegar very efficient in getting Merc camps, especially with this build. So it's going to keep things rather even for the time, but already 17 being dropped off by ETC in the bottom coffer. There's still 27 in the bank here on the side of LFM Esports.
Yeah, that scouting drone is going to get good value. Both these camps are going to mirror each other in the middle, and like I said, they're almost level 10, so they're going to be able to back-to-back, basically, unless they can get some type of sneaky turn-in. As you can see, they're basically goaltending both the top and bottom. They hit 10, they get another turn-in, as that's going to be unsuccessful there. But this is a scary, scary position. You've already given up 2 forts. The lanes are somewhat pushed out. They're only going to get worse with Sylvanas. This went from bad to worse right now. And focusing on getting that camp as opposed to trying to control the map, look for a fight, or try and get a turn in, knowing that the enemy team was probably getting their camp as well, it's going to be a lot more difficult.
Yeah, the only small victory we have here on the side of No Sleep is the giant camp in the bottom lane, but they're going to go clean that up, you know, in just moments. Yes, they can clean up mid, but they just got to play passive and concede another turn, and because they don't have level 10, so here comes another big push.
Scary, man. Well, Prog Rock is almost done for ETC. The early rotations have afforded him a lot of early globes. Echoed Corruption about 80% done, not too much longer. And then you're going to see the big spike there. Demolitions Expert about halfway done, about 20 out of 40 hits so far on the side of LFM.
Okay, top's getting cleaned up. They're going to get 10 fairly quickly. They're actually looking to push this forward.
This is,
I mean, they'll get 10.
This is bad.
But then they got this full health Web Weaver, and this full health Web Weaver with Sylvanas. Like, this keep could go down here.
In theory, it's good because you want to get some push in. They wanted to get 10, but now they've given up an entire keep wall. This Web Weaver's at 70% health, and you've got Sylvanas. This, I mean, I'd actually use an early expulsion zone here. Just kind of zone it out. But Sanctification, Jake, already used.
Okay. What can they get done with it? Nothing. They just force the retreat. They clean up Weber. Curse Bullet has been used as well. Just trying to keep them at bay. So the keep's A-okay, but they lost a wall. They lost 2 walls, really.
Yeah, I mean, the top lane's already pushed out, cleared up. That's fine and dandy as we see the charge on the Zarya. The taunt, the power slide into the mosh pit. The fear, the horrify was already used. Ancestral, though, has landed.
Oh my goodness, Heiyun will be able to slip away just barely, and he has 32 gems in his pocket, so that's very big to be able to get him out of there. Still 2 levels ahead at this point in time, but no talent advantage, unable to secure that kill.
I said Horrify was already done. It was on the other side. There's just not a lot of options. And, you know, we talked about Grenade being one of the interrupts. The scariest thing about running Odin against the comp that relies on that, as we see the vision is there. Handlebars will be sniffed out, but DBJ trying to get it in as the globes continue to get launched. The minute you pop Odin, you no longer have Grenade.
All right,
and if that's one of your main interrupts, that's scary.
Curse Bullet was used to really open that up on ETC, wow. And as soon as they got that lockdown, he just slipped on in for the kill that should net themselves that first turn in. They only need 3 more gems, and there they go.
Jake, I was like, where did this health bar go?
Oh yeah, Curse Bullet, it's so good.
That was wild. They've got it. This is their only lane they're going to get pushed in. The middle and bottom lanes are pushed all the way back to the keep wall. They could threaten a keep. Odin, this would be a perfect time to use Odin. Mosh Pit's already down. You can siege up. This actually might be a keep, and this is a really good lane to open up. So we'll see when they do time Odin.
They're still down 13, though, so it's not going to be easy.
Web Weaver and Odin is super scary.
Okay, Kurzweil onto Hacker and puts a big pressure on, but UJ healing for that Sink. Very safe because he is that lowest on the teams. With that regrowth and cooldown, throwing that one at himself. Rated trying to put the pressure onto the Oda, but still getting tons and tons of free poke as the wall has fallen. And a half-health web weaver being worked on so quickly by that Echo Corruption.
It's done really well so far. And we are seeing the Bound by Shadow at level 7. So every time you hit a hero, they're looking to possibly engage here as the Corruption continue to go. They have 13 talent tier advantage. I don't think they need to press the issue. Clear up these lanes, and they're still in a really good spot.
Yeah, that really brings it back to the game. I think they have just about another turn in behind this, which is, you know, if you can get that back-to-back, that really brings the game to an even standing. Bottom fort will end up falling to the Web Weaver, and they've opened up middle fort. The fact that all of the wells are now off the table as well is also probably the biggest victory of all here.
Yeah, that's a really good thing to point out. It makes fighting around that a little bit tougher and a little bit scarier. Scouting drone is there, so they're not exactly going to go. Draded does have expulsion zone. We'll see if he can get that in there. There it is. It's separated the team as Juki's starting to come in, but there's a flank is coming on the backside by Dayoon onto BBJ. They're going in the power slide, the ice block. It's landed into the Twilight Dream. Down goes one, down goes two, and a huge play there made by ETC.
The Mosh Pit Twilight Dream turned that flank from what looked like a promising situation for no sleep into just utter disaster. Like ice block, clutch. Bottom the time needed for that Mosh, and then that Twilight Dream just spelled disaster. Even with the Ancestral Heal clutching Tyrell's life for a little bit longer, it just felt like such a one-sided fight.
They need to go back and pick up one gem. They need to pick up one gem from that wave. They can double dip here. They can get boss and a turn in. They did not pick up a gem. They'll be able to get it out of the next one, but that is, woo! That hurts me, Jake. That hurts me.
What also hurts me is seeing Greymane get collapsed on like that. Juki does get out of there with the help of Cleanse. We do see the expulsion zone onto Dayon, but there is a boss marching on in with 4 relatively low health bars on these heroes. Odin being summoned on the backside, trying to will through this, but this wall is going down to potentially keep with it.
Yeah, Sylvana's going to lock this down. The boss is going to stay pretty healthy, at least momentarily. The Odin's going to help defend quite a bit, but they are posturing up. Boss still at about 60% health, Jake, and this keep is looking a little bit less promising.
Yeah, it's in a bad spot. Gillian Cocktail doing its best. Curse Bullet going to try to find that single target if they can, but the boss, it's doing its job so effectively, and this keep is definitely going down. Can they find a kill off the back of this? Probably not. Just going to be a safe retreat here. I like the safe play from LFM rather than that risky call that we saw in Game 1 where they kind of tried to push too much. Yeah.
Yeah, Hecarim can get this. He'll Haunting Wave over to basically like control some of his lack of mobility here as he clears that up. He's just going to go ahead and mount up. I thought he would Haunting Wave bottom, clear up the bottom lane, and the team would rotate down. But the bottom lane, obviously, since you already have the keep open up, but they already have the keep all down middle. We'll see what they can do. Top lane is going to have to be defended. They need to push that out now and then try and rotate down. This could be a second keep going down.
Oh yeah, maybe 2, honestly, with Sylvanas in the mix. They have to worry about everything. I mean, you mentioned the catapults being an issue in the top with the Web Weaver. Bottom is already completely open, which is why they're putting that pressure on mid. They know that bottom will do the work on its own since the fortifications and the progress has already begun on that keep.
First bullet was used there.
It's only a 30-second cooldown, so it's not a big deal. He'll have it again in this fight. But yeah, I mean, considering a regrowth can more or less deal with a cursed bullet, that is costly.
This Web Weaver is very healthy. They might start posturing up. We see the Eldruins coming in. Let's see if he commits to it. There's quite a few seconds before you can reactivate that. They're not. The stun charge coming in. Web Weaver going down. This could be a third keep. That third keep is about to be assaulted right now.
There's no way they save it. With Sylvanas here, it's a huge wave of minions. And they're terrified. Without level 16, they just cannot fight.
Top wave is already on the core. Shields are going down rapidly. They're trying to clear that up, but Hecarim rotating in. They're starting to get damage onto the core. I don't think they defend against this.
Alrighty, well, a good attempt to try to keep themselves alive, but that one team fight in the bottom was too much. LFM tie the series up, and we're going to a game number 3.
Man, that decision for that flank